Get you some makeup and go right here with it.
Warrior.
And then you just shake shit violently.
Yeah, just grab shit and shake it.
We live on Facebook?
Is that Michael Jackson stuff?
So I'm waiting for it to come through.
It's a wrestler.
It's a wrestler.
Oh, okay.
One of the best.
All right, Sharon. Theme music.
Hold on a second. Look, let me
Goddamn.
start first. I'm about to start divvying out all these responsibilities.
Oh, not mine. Mm-mm.
Look at delegation coming through.
We the Black delegation.
Light me up a little bit.
That is what I look like right now.
I look like this.
Right.
I look like this.
And I look like this.
Make sure everybody got their volume turned down so you don't have to.
Turn my ringer on. Every Monday, I forget that my phone was on silent on Sunday.
What in the world?
I'm like, why ain't nobody calling me?
We are ready to rock. So let's go ahead. Commercial.
Yeah.
Why can't I hear you?
Hey, what's up, y'all? This your girl Dizzy. What's up, y'all? And welcome to another episode of What You Got To Say. So you know I got my crazy co-host in the building. What's up, Mr. Tyrone Greggory?
Hey, love, gang, gang.
And what's up, Mr. Cabana Blaq?
Hey, I'm that dude.
And Miss Cool Candice.
What up, y'all? It's time to chop it up.
And coming in this Sunday as the ultimate warrior.
Come on here, y'all.
What's up, Kela Mahogany?
Hey, y'all.
Oh, she's
I'm
too
on
cool
one
today.
Just ignore me.
That's
I'm
all
too
right.
cool
That's
to
all
say.
right. That's what we need.
Technical difficulties.
It's okay. It's
Let
okay.
me tell you something.
All right. So what we're gonna do today is submission in relationships. So if you guys have been kind of like tuning in, you guys know that I think her name is Jeannie Mae is now engaged to Jeezy, and so she made a comment a little while ago that she wants to be able to submit to her husband once they get married. And she got a lot of backlash from a lot of people, not necessarily agreeing with her statements, saying that she was out of touch about, current roles and, so on of women. And so we decided to jump in on that and see what is the deal with submission. Is it really so bad? And what we all think about it. So let's start with the first question. What do you feel it means to submit in a relationship and or marriage? And go.
I believe it's compromise. Straight up.
Is there a definition first of submission?
I'm going to, but I want to see.
I was like, that was the first thing. I think everybody should know the definition too.
Right. But I want to see what you feel it is before I tell you what it is, because I want to see how much of a misconception there might be.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I said, I think it's compromise. It's all about that give and take. You can't take more out of the relationship than you're putting into the relationship. Period.
Okay, so your idea of submission is give and take.
Yeah, compromise. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Compromise, give and take. Okay.
I will say it does involve compromise. Not necessarily saying that it's always going to be 50-50 as far as the give and take is concerned. Because shit happens. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, sometimes you're 100%, sometimes you're not. So as far as the give and take is concerned, one person may be able to give more in some instances than another, within the significant other. Whereas, you know, sometimes you may be able to do 50-50. Sometimes you may only be able to do 20% and your spouse pick up the other 80. And then there are other times when, you know, y'all are doing 60-40, but it's all about different dynamics with whatever's going on, whatever situation may be taking place at that point. But as far as submission is concerned, I think it has to do with the trust that you have for your significant other, for your spouse, for your boyfriend, girlfriend, man friend, woman friend, whatever you want to call them. It's definitely about the trust and the respect that you have for that person, for you to be, for them to allow you to kind of be the head for you, but for them to respect you enough not to take advantage of you in that light. So it's definitely a respect factor. It's definitely a trust factor. There definitely has to be compromise. But as far as submitting is concerned, I really, it encompasses a lot. But it's not just a straightforward across the board black and white.
Okay. Kela, what do you feel that submission means? What does that mean in a relationship or marriage? What do you feel that means?
I think that it means you give your kind of the leadership role in the relationship, where you guys are going, what goals you guys have, to the other person. And so you trust them enough. You want to be in the position to where you feel comfortable that they lead. Maybe they have veto power on decisions. Maybe their careers are at the front of the focus of y'all's relationship and your marriage. And so you're always gonna defer to that career on how that, you know, on where that leads you, where you live, things like that. I think, yeah, that's what submission means to me.
Okay. All right. So looked at a couple of things to see what quote unquote submission is in a marriage. So the overall definition that I believe that I've seen, it says that marital submission is when a wife voluntarily and willingly chooses to submit herself under her husband's leadership and authority in their marital relationship. It therefore, because if you guys don't know, the origin of this submission topic actually comes from the Bible. So it says, therefore, God is pleased when a wife submits to her husband, as it is a sign of humility on her part. So none of us kind of actually agree with the Bible submission.
I didn't get to say nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kabal.
I was gonna wait.
Sorry. Go ahead, boo.
Because you over there eating. You know what I'm saying? You having a Thanksgiving
just
feast.
because I'm not married don't mean I don't got no opinion.
No. It's just because you on your third plate of macaroni and cheese.
Well, it's rice, broccoli, and chicken. I've been painting all day, so y'all.
I knew it was a meal. I
gotta eat.
Exactly.
Because I'm trying to get this 170, 2 more pounds, y'all. Okay, anyway. I feel like, for me, on my perspective, submission is always individual. It is not a group. I'm not married, but just looking at friendships and things you're doing, and I agree with Candice, it's not something that you just call out and say, well, you be submissive on the rent, and I'll be submissive on the dishes. You know, I think submission is a willingness for an individual to give up control at any given moment. Because when I look at marriages for me and watch people in their relationships that I know very well, I can tell by the personalities that I'm around. I know dominant and I know, you know, the non-dominant person, but I can tell when they're switching up just naturally. Like they instinctively know, excuse my wording on that, they know when to like back up. And I think in relationships, just for me, it just seems like you know when to push the backup button and allow certain things to lay to rest, or you choosing when in your relationships where you see someone that may like to pay the bills all the time and you're like, okay, well, you know, all right, I'll give them that, or I'll give her that. I do not, which is gonna be ironic, as far as the Bible is concerned, I think it was written in a time, just like anything else. So I don't think that it applies to today in the sense of how men and women are, not just in general. And I think that, you know, you have to choose to submit to someone that you're willing to know that's caring about your heart and is going to take care of your heart. They're not going to just use your submission and drag it around like trash. They're going to actually be more appreciative and say, dang, like, I know she don't rock like that, but she allowed me to do it. Or I know he don't rock like that. And that's the one thing when the Bible says about just women, it's men too. They need to be submissive too.
Okay. All right. So again, I know we have people on the line watching. So what's up, Capone and Brunson and Keith and Carlos Perry? What's up, all of y'all? I see y'all watching. So if you guys got stuff to say, please say something, because
yes. What's up, Jason?
Nah, me.
I'm laughing. So one of my friends commented, "Thanks for tuning in, Kat and Dominique and Patricia. Hey, Dave and Keith." Kat was like, "Submission is letting your husband think that he runs things, but you know what the deal is."
Come on here.
Hey, you never know. You never know. For real. So my next question then is, do you feel that you personally submit in your relationship?
I'm trying my hardest. Like I'm auditioning to be a housewife. I'm ready. You know, I've done a lot of research. So husband, if you're watching, yeah.
With them Beyonce glasses on, I don't know. You might be like, who runs the world?
No.
Your answer is no, Kela. You're not. I'm trying, but no. Okay.
It wasn't always easy. It wasn't because I have a dominant personality, and so does my husband. So for two, you know, alpha type mindsets to kind of come in together, there was a tug of war of power for a while. And I wouldn't necessarily say it was power, but just, you know, in decision making for some instances or for certain things that we were doing or going, or, you know, things happening in a marriage. And so I think just with getting older and getting wiser, I learned that I don't necessarily have to hold on to everything all the time, or be so overbearing in all instances. So it took a minute for me to kind of learn to kind of sit back and, you know, relax and be like, babe, I got it. Like, for me to have that trust for my husband, it took some growth on my part and on his part for us to grow together, for me to grow up mentally, because this was my first marriage and he was married previously. So, you know, he kind of knew what to expect going in, and I didn't. So I'm looking at examples that I had seen around me, you know, from my aunts and my mom, you know, all of them have been married, you know, 20 plus years. And so looking at their example for how they submitted to their husbands, or how, you know, they conducted themselves within their marriages, those were the examples that I had. And so me just trying to live up to that, all the women on my mom's side, all of them are all dominant. Everybody got type A personality, everybody. So, you know, when dealing with their husbands, it's like they making the law and the husbands are kind of running with it. And then in other instances, they're in control and the ladies are kind of stepping back and they're in the kitchen, or, you know, they're going shopping, or, you know, we're decorating stuff or whatever. So, you know, there was a balance of power, and I didn't pay attention to that part at first. So with me growing and learning and watching those around me, because you can learn good and bad from watching other folks. And a lot of people miss that. Like, oh, well, it's a teaching moment. You can learn something good. Well, you can watch somebody and learn some bad shit too. So it's a matter of what you're picking up and what's resonating with you. And so it took a minute, but we're definitely in an amazing place right now. And it took growth. It took learning. It took me having to sit back and sit down and close my mouth sometimes because I talk too much and I'm loud. And I know I'm loud. So,
no, you're not.
You know, Kela's not gonna have that. No, you're not.
At all.
But
Perfect.
I trust him.
That's
Greg, what do you think? Do you submit, and do you feel your wife submits to you?
Yeah, I mean, it took, just like Candice was saying, it took some time, for us to really get in our groove. But once we got in our groove, it's like, it's just too easy. It's too easy. It's like, okay, babe, I understand you had this going on. I got you. Okay. She understand I got this going on. She got me. Or, you know what I'm saying? Vice versa, however it works. It's like right now, after my 12 years in the military, she followed me around the world. Now that she's doing her thing, it's like, well, babe, wherever you go, I'm going. It's like we just work with each other. So I believe I submit. I believe she submits. I think we just, like I said, communicate and work together.
All right. Cabana, what role do you feel that you would play?
Oh, well, I think that I am a submissive personality, and this is going to be a little bit that I think is different. I think when you're single, you don't need to be a submissive personality. I think that you need to be a dominant personality by the time you get in a relationship so you can have your equal share in it. My personality, as far as my gifts, is dominant, but I realize, just not being in a relationship and the desire to be one, I would be submissive to friends and people that necessarily would not, take care of that heart or care of that spirit. And when you're single, you are looking for love. And anybody that says they're not is full of, be caca and the doo doo. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants some kind of relationship, a love in their life. And so when you do that, you find yourself almost assimilating it with your friends and your families and your relatives, and you become very submissive. And in that, that is not the time. Being single, you're supposed to be dominant and finding out who and what you are, so that when you get together with somebody, I always say it takes two whole people to make a relationship. It doesn't take a half of a person and a half of a person. I think it takes two whole people to make a relationship. So I am actually working on being a little selfish and being a little bit more dominant and caring in the positive light, so that I can not be submissive in a bad way, because I think submission has a very thin line, and you as the individual, I think, is responsible for how much you submit. And if you don't know how to do it, then you leave it to your spouse, your friends, and people to actually handle it for you. And I think that's where it becomes dangerous, is that people think submission is, well, whatever you like, whatever you want. No, it ain't whatever you like, it ain't whatever you want, but okay, I'll give you this one. All right. Boom.
Well, sometimes it is.
Yeah,
sometimes it can be like that.
I mean, boom. But
But I will say that I think what we're talking about is what happens in good relationships, right? Where you have to compromise. But if we're going back to the question where it's about marital submission, then that's just what it is. It's the one. I don't think any of us are in a marital submissive type of relationship. We are in a relationship that values both, both people's individual objectives, and then you compromise and you make a plan to do that work together. And so it's more on equal footing, because both of us, all of us, in our relationships, we will do some give and take. But in the marital submission, I think, realm, that is something different, where it's like, I'm going to defer to my husband, or I'm going to, what Jenny's talking about, she's going to defer to Jeezy and there won't be compromise in the way that we do compromise. You know what I'm saying?
Well said, Kela, well said.
So
because
so is that I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because I have a question, because y'all all married. And so is that because for me, I look at Jeannie as the type of woman that is going to follow, because she is a devout Christian. She is someone that's going to follow those lines of the traditional housewife. And, I know she's a boss and all this kind of stuff, but she seems like she's looking towards being someone that cooks and cleans, takes care of the house, takes care of the children, and do all those things. Is that what you saying?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I mean, not even in that aspect, but when it comes to actual decisions that need to be made, what happens to the money? What is our how are our children raised? You know, that will defer to she's deferring those decisions to him
now that's
instead
a
of
funny question too, because I know of some couples where literally the man wants to hand over the wallet. Is
yeah,
that uncommon?
you know. I think some relationships they see who handles those things better, you know, who
Okay.
handles it the best. It's like you want
Yeah.
the best person doing any job because they're gonna enjoy it or they're just gonna it's gonna be a better outcome.
Okay.
Hmm.
I will say that I know that typically in my life I am extremely dominant. I know that. I'm aware of my flaws. However,
You good? But
I
watch
think
out.
right. However, I think that the dominant vibe from my husband is what attracted me to him in the first place. Because I get about the give and take, I get about the compromise, I get about all of that, but if I don't trust you to make a sound decision for me, then I would have never married you. I would have never married you. So it's not it's compromise now, but and I think that's with marriage. But I've seen a lot of people in a lot of relationships where they thinking they're supposed to submit to the boyfriend, and I'm like, why? He hasn't proven himself. What are you talking about? You know, you following somebody who can't lead themselves. You know, and so I think that because I know everywhere else in my life, in a general sense, I'm the boss. I'm the one who is entrusted to make the decisions for the betterment of the organization or wherever I am. I happen to be like the boss. But when I come home, my input is definitely acknowledged. But I don't want to run everything. I don't want to. I don't want to run it all. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. Give me, you know, I mean, my homegirl kind of coined it a couple of years ago when we hung out a lot more. Domesticated diva. I'm not on the far end of Cardi B. I don't cook, I don't clean. You ain't gonna keep him long either if you don't. I mean, for real, you're not. Especially if that's his expectation. You're not gonna keep him
Right.
very long. So I believe that my mom taught me all of those things that you need to be able to do, not just for a man, but for yourself. And that's some things that you probably gonna need to do to keep him happy. Cook, clean, and everything else in the WAP video as well to keep him happy. But I'm just saying, but those little pieces mean something. So I don't mind being the one to come home and cook dinner and clean on Saturdays or whatever. But I also am the one, I don't always defer to my husband, but I definitely bounce major decisions off on him. Like, I'm not going to sign that. Let me holler at my husband first, especially when it has something to do with house funds or, you know, just an overall decision for the household, because I might think something's a great idea. He might look at it from a whole other point of view. And I'd be like, oh,
I didn't even think about that.
Right. I ain't even think about that. We ain't doing it then. I'm cool. You know, and he'll say, nah, we can't do that. And I'm like, all right, cool. But then there's some times where I am adamant that I'm like, nah, I have a feeling about this. Let's do it like this. Let me try this one.
Right.
And in response to Cabana with the handing over the wallet, yep. My husband's like, I don't want to have to be responsible for paying nothing.
And that makes sense. You got a whole degree.
Right.
A whole degree.
A whole degree.
So
can you do mine too?
Look.
So he's like, here, you pay all the bills. If we want to invest, I don't care. Go ahead and do it. If you want to do that, I don't care. You know, I don't care. Just go ahead and do it. I'm the one that does the taxes. I'm the one that does all of that. I do the grocery shopping. I do the budget. I do all of that. You know, and like Kela said, it's because that's my strong point. So why not? But I don't know. Like I said, if he didn't already have that dominant quality in him, I don't think I would have trusted enough to be submissive. Yep. I would have trampled over him like I did all my other ex-boyfriends and got rid of it.
And that's why.
Come on, word. That's a word. Trample.
and that's why they're exes, because you didn't see that dominant trait in them. You could see through them. You could see you with the guy you were dating at the time, who is now your husband. You could see your life with him. You could see you following him. You could see you allowing him to lead you.
The evidence of the ability
to right. You can see that in him. You can see that with those other guys, which is why you continue to trample over them, which is why you continue to, I ain't doing that shit. Move. I do it myself.
Right. Hey, so the people that are online, I'm telling you, if you're listening to this conversation, I definitely would like to know what you feel about the submission conversation. Are you submissive? Do you expect your mate to be submissive? Why, who, what, when, all that stuff? Please get into the convo with us, please.
Yes. Agree or disagree?
Sorry, go ahead.
So I do have a question. So the ability to lead. Does the ability to lead, is that in direct correlation to income and monetary value?
No.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
You ain't say yeah or no.
Because I don't think money should be the deciding factor. I think it has a heavy factor in anything in relationships, but you have to be careful with when you do the money thing in your relationship. You know, because I have to commend your husband just to know, because like I said, I feel like submission goes both ways, to know that your husband is a dominant personality, but he understands and sees that your strength is handling money and finances. For a lot of men who are not strong, that becomes an issue, because a man is feeling like they are the caregivers and the caretakers. And in the world today, and in the Me Too movement, which I have a love-hate relationship with, I do, because I don't think that it's necessarily balanced, because it takes away certain things. And that's just in anything, because, you know, we are extremists, you know, we do things and we don't know how to, like, you know, weigh the scales of it. But I think men are even more threatened that are not bad men. They're good guys. But even in this movement, they're hesitant and they back away from it. And before I thought about it, I was like, most men wouldn't even let certain women, you know, handle their money. So for me, you know, I've always thought, Dizzy, your husband was great. I've always thought that you can tell that he cares about his family. And I think that's the one thing that's missing when I look at couples in the eyes, is I don't see a care for each other. Like, if you ain't, like, they just don't look like they caring about each other. Like, literally, I see more couples separately on their phones beside each other. And I'm like, y'all together. Like, and I get it, you know, sometimes you want to be like, whatever, but you can tell, like, okay, this is y'all normal life. Like, y'all may talk, but this is like, we just doing this because we went out to eat, you know, and stuff like that. And we don't, even though we went out to eat, we gonna be on these phones together, and we still together, and I'm gonna kiss you on your lip, and then I'm gonna go back to my phone, and I'm gonna eat this food, and then in between that, you know what I'm gonna say? This was really good. And then I'm gonna go back to my phone and be like, and not remember the night, but look at each other and say, well, you know, I had a good time. Right.
That's true.
Like you did not. And don't get me wrong, I think that's normal, but I can see it. And that's coming from a person that is single, that kind of just, you know, I watch people. I do.
I mean, but not everybody loves each other. They don't.
You better say that.
There's a lot of people
Absolutely
who
real.
are just together just because.
And that's what I'm saying. You can't be submissive to something that you don't love.
Yeah.
You can be, and I think submission to something that you love is one thing, but if you're not loving something that you're submitting to, you're going to become a slave, the other S word. You're just going to be there. And I just think that's very dangerous. That submission thing is.
What do you mean with the monetary, though?
That's what I was getting ready to say. So I know, not just me, all y'all on social media have seen it. It can be a meme or just a statement. It's typically from men. This is what I see.
Oh, okay.
All right, so they'll say, I can't. I don't want to use the situation. I remember is Kobe Bryant, but I don't want to use Kobe Bryant. Okay, I'm gonna use this. Why is it always basketball players? Okay, let's just
Tristan.
Very telling.
Johnson. I'm gonna use Magic Johnson, but then y'all can insert the celebrity here. Okay. Insert the celebrity, whatever celebrity you want. All right. So Magic Johnson, what's his wife's name? Cookie?
Cookie.
Okay. So Magic Johnson and Cookie together, married for however long, right? It's very apparent that Magic Johnson cheated on his wife, right?
Allegedly.
A whole alleged, all right. I don't know where else he got HIV from if Cookie don't got it. But anyway, it must have been one of them monkeys or...
I can't. Go, Dizzy. Don't do that.
Okay, so at any rate, he cheats and they like, he cheats and Cookie stays.
Mm-hmm.
And she's playing the wife role. And Steve Harvey cheats, his wife stayed. And so and his wife stayed. But you won't even stay with me after, one argument or one whatever. And people, and their response is, you ain't Kobe. You ain't Magic Johnson. And it's not, I don't feel that they're referring to the person. I think they talking about that dollar. So it's like, are they trying to say, because I don't agree, I think maybe back in my hood-der days, yes, I would have stayed with the dude a little bit longer if he had a little bit of dough back then. Now, your money don't mean really nothing to me at all, but they're saying that these women are staying in these relationships, whether they be toxic or whatever, or still be in the submissive role because whoever they're married to is rich. And so that's where the monetary piece came from, because then the caveat to that is we talk about compromise, we talk about all that, but I'm wondering, would some women be as quick to submit? Let's just say they make more money than their husband. Would you be willing to submit if the tables were turned financially? Just curious.
It's a personal thing, right?
Me personally, I would, just because that's who I chose to be with. That's who I decided that I wanted to spend my life with, who decided to spend their life with me. And this is the life that, we have built together. A lot of people, they look at one thing and they see like, oh, well, he did, this one thing to her. And, she should leave him. She should go, whatever the situation is. Well, y'all are on the outside looking in. So you don't know everything else that's going on, one, behind closed doors. And right. Two, you don't know how, they still vibe. One of my friends commented and was like, Courtney said, really, it just depends on if the personality and energies are a good match. So right. If you are with your significant other and yeah, okay, they may fuck up. Cool. Nobody's perfect. None of us are. But if y'all are still a good match, if y'all can get past whatever this is, then who cares whatever everybody else got to say? If they ain't keeping your bed warm at night, you can run your mouth if you want to. You're not going to help me take care of these kids, and you're not going to help me pay none of these bills. You can shut up and kick whatever rock or boulder you want to off to Grand Canyon. All I'm saying is maintain your lane. So whatever we're doing in our home, if he makes more money than me or if I make more money than him, as long as we can mend and blend together, it doesn't matter who is holding the purse basically or who's holding the wallet.
But that's not submission. Like that's still compromise. Like I think if we're talking about the real definition of marital submission, then we are not compromising. It's whatever that other person, however they feel is kind of more important in the relationship. Like I said before, they have veto power. But I mean, not saying that like I said, we are a part of compromise situation, but would you be in a situation where you deferred to your husband and you not that you're Like your wishes were devalued, but it was always going to be what his final decision was. Could you do that?
I think that's essentially him making the final decision. And whether you call it veto power or not, that's him making a decision for the family. So if y'all are something simple like where we're going for vacation,
Right.
one person wants to go to the Grand Canyon and somebody else wants to go to Disney World. Okay, husband, I guess you can call not necessarily a tiebreaker, but he's the one who, you know, made the final decision. All right, this is what we're going to do. Let's plan this trip so we can all go together. So if you are, you know, allowing him to make that final decision for you guys, then I guess that would, you could call that submission or whatnot. But
what if it's whether or not to sell your house or move to another state?
As long as y'all have a plan for what you're going to do on the other side once you guys get there. If he has a job and it's okay, I got to pick up and move and go over here, we're taking the whole family, you know, this is what's going to be available when we get there. This is the school that the kids can go to. You know, he'll have a plan, and that's where
See, that's the thing. I don't think submission.
What if he doesn't?
I don't think submission is
blindly following someone who has no vision.
That's
submission.
No.
It's not.
That's not submission. Like submission is not what people portray. I think that's what the world has portrayed. Even from the biblical sense, it's not saying like, oh, when it says cleave, you know, cleave to your husband, it's not saying that. It's just saying basically when you decide as a woman to marry a man, you cannot be running back to mom and dad and kinfolk to make marital decisions. That's that part. I see you. I'm done. I see you. Well, I'm saying when you marry someone, it's not saying, oh, you know, wives cleave to your husband, and then, you know, as the church cleaves to Christ. No, it's saying like when you do that, you're making the decision to leave your family structure, your home environment, and you're going to be under him, but y'all supposed to be working as a team together. It's
right.
Not, you know, I said sit
right.
up. No. I said shut up. I said go.
It doesn't have to be in a it doesn't have to be in a browbeating way. It doesn't. Go ahead, Greg.
What you're putting out is you're saying to her like, this is this. Or what if he doesn't want to do this? What if he doesn't want to do that? Then if he's saying all these things, then it's not submission. It means that he's demanding something then. Because submission is the art of the willingness to submit. You can't submit unless you want to. If it's not something that you want to do, then it's out of submission. I think that's why I said go back to the definition of submission, because the word is not about someone making you submit. You're supposed to be willing to do it. And I think that's why I say it's so dangerous, because some people may not even know. And even though we're talking about the marital part of it, I think that it's good that it's global like this, because before anything, you got to know it's single wise too.
Well, there's a thing here that talks about what submission is not, because you have a lot of people who think that submission just means I'm going to blindly follow you to the ends of the earth because you're my husband. And that's not what it is.
That's not what I'm saying either.
Oh, no. I know. I didn't say
okay. I mean, I wasn't trying to, I wasn't. It just, that's just my voice. I'm sorry.
That's not what I had said.
That's that warrior honey, that warrior honey.
I just think a lot of it is all just like people's interpretation. Like it's all interpretation, because like you were saying with the Bible, by the way the Bible says it, it's like whenever he say we move, we move. Whenever I say you jump, you jump. That's exactly how it says it, isn't it?
That's a section. You have to read the stories of marriages in the Bible. A lot of times people just quote sections of the Bible.
No, I'm not quoting a section. I'm just saying, like, from what the segment she said, that's how it comes across.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm just helping you from the person that's read the Bible cover to cover, is that reading the stories, it's not what it appears. And a lot of times we just spout out a scripture or say now faith is the substance of things hoped for, and not really read the before and after story of it. And that's what I'm saying is that even in the Bible, they were corrupt and did not know better. And as time went on, people like ourselves lived then trying to change what was not right. made tradition.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm saying it's not correct in the way it's being put out as far as just general, you know. So I just want to make people know, because on air, when we're up here, I want people to understand, like, truly, submission is not what you think it is. So if you are a submissive wife or you're a submissive husband, hopefully when you leave, you'll understand, like, completely both sides of the coin and
Right.
not be, you know, confused. Because
So we have a couple comments. So Mr. Brunson says, in all relationships, both have to be willing to submit. There might be one that submits more than the other. However, submission does not mean weakness. So our friend Frank Oliver says, are we going to talk about love finally? Love, submissions, money. Where is the romance?
yeah,
With
I
the
want to know about
romance in these relationships. Okay, do you think that submission affects romance at all?
But
Of
are
course.
Not that submission. I mean, but maybe that's submission. No, go ahead, Kela.
Man, that's submission.
Candice was gonna say something. I'm the anti today, I think.
We love you though.
I'm definitely the anti.
You're anti-submission?
I'm saying, what I'm saying is, I think that there really is a like, the scales are tipped like this when it comes to submission. It's not necessarily it's not a 50-50
Right.
And so, but I think what we are talking about is more of a great 50-50 relationship.
Compromise.
Not we're talking about compromise relationships, not submissive relationships. Because if we were talking about, I think the submissive, if we were, you know, talking from that standpoint, it is more you are deferring to the other person. It doesn't have to be in a negative way. It can still be like the example that I was saying, like, if he doesn't have a plan, but he's like, trust in me, you know what I mean? I'm gonna make sure that we're taken care of when we get there. I have a, you know, I'm not saying that you're blindly, you know, following him, but you are saying, okay, I trust you, we're going.
Mm-hmm.
That makes more sense.
In a submissive situation. That's what I'm saying. When you are really put up against it, it's like, okay, I can submit. But then there may come a point in time where you're like, that's my limit. You know what I mean? I'm not, that's too much. Now we either need to be in a compromise situation, compromise relationship, or, you know, because I'm not.
So we have a comment here that says, well, when it is about marriage, you promise something to your wife and God, and that means something. It's just natural when you love. When I love, I can give in 100%. 50% is not enough.
Right.
Ooh, I like that.
I have several people that have commented.
Go ahead.
One person said, you know, these women also have power. You know, the wives are huge figures in their own right, even if just from marriage. And then Dave commented and was like, I would even want to be with a woman that deferred to me for everything. That's not submission. That sounds like you're raising another child.
Come on.
Thank you,
here.
David. Thank you, Dave.
But it is.
But who is that again? Because I like that.
Dave, he said, I wouldn't even want to be with a woman that deferred to me for everything. That's not submission. That sounds like you're raising another child.
It is submission, though, but.
And maybe that's what we're getting at too. Maybe we have come to a place where Albert says, and are we truly submitting these days or compromising?
Right.
And I get that. Compromising is what truly I think all of us have learned and should do. I mean, we should come together and figure out a way to live together. And I think that's the same thing in relationships. And submitting, I think that just like marriage, and let's not even say marriage, let's go to the real T. For wives, I think being a mother and a wife has been made a crime or discredited or whatever you want to call it. My mother was a full-time mom, proudly. And that was her job outside of church and things of that nature. But she told me, I chose you and I chose to do this. I chose to be pregnant. I chose to have you. I took 11 years to get you. Like, this stuff, like my mom told me. So some people, it might not be the case, but I think that sometimes even when I look at, women, why is it? And this is me just asking a why question. Why is it? Why does it have to be the woman has to submit? Why does it have to be it's a less than job when we know being a mother, and I'm not a mother, but I see it as a teacher, that's a hard job. That's a
I mean,
real hard
you may not
job.
like the answer.
So I'm kind of like, so when I think about submission for me, if anything, it just seems like you're supposed to be taken care of, but it doesn't mean that you're supposed to be forgotten.
Doesn't the Bible kind of push that though?
This
Where
is what I said before. In the beginning, when this was all created, you know what I'm saying? Because the word is the word, whatever it's going to be. And I'm a devout Christian, but as you read the word cover to cover, page to page, chapter to chapter, you start to see so many people in the word that were basically realizing a truth. Like we realize a truth as we get more wiser and we try to change things and fix things. And so for me, the word is like a big story that just shows humanity over and over again.
I
So
mean, yeah, but you were asking like where did the idea come from to where wives were the one that took that,
yeah,
you know,
but that's where it
role.
came from. But we are now in 2020.
So you're trying to figure out maybe why it has stayed that
Yeah,
way?
like
I don't think it
I
has.
don't think
I
it's
think
bad.
it turned into exactly what we've said. If the original intent in the Bible was, all right, all y'all ladies submit to all your husbands and God will be happy with you. If that's what it said in the book, and now all of our descriptions of what we thought, what the relationship is compromised. I don't think it really is submission then.
No, I think there is submission, and I think Jenny, that's what she wants. But
That's
what
what she
we
wants, right?
want is compromise.
So she wants to be taken care of and allow him to make all the decisions with
Like that.
no
You
voice.
think that she wants all of it?
No, I didn't say that the voice, like, of course, I'm sure they talk about it. What I'm saying is you defer. Greg, you know what I'm talking about. Help me out.
I look at it like this. Okay, look, check this out. Our grandparents, those were submissive relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Those were submissive relationships. If you think about it, most of our grandparents, our grandfather drove everywhere. He worked. If grandmother worked, she didn't work as much as he did. But if she did, she was still like, all right, here you go. What we doing next? How we doing this? And letting them make the decisions. Our parents, they were different than our grandparents. Now we are like totally different. We just straight compromise. Because some of our parents was a little compromising, a little submissive, a little compromised, a little submissive.
Right.
But
Right.
we're just like, nah, we working together or we ain't gonna do this. What's up?
Right.
Right. Do
Yeah,
you
that's
think that's
perfect.
progression? Do you think that is a sign of progression?
I
Oh
do.
yeah, definitely.
Evolution, really, it was bound to happen.
Because when you look at the how can you put it, the look at how women have been given rights, because back in the day they didn't have any. They couldn't vote. They couldn't have a job outside of the home. They, were stayed at home barefoot and pregnant. Your feet was supposed to be the distance from between wherever you were standing at and the stove, quote unquote. So now, whereas we are owning our own companies, starting our own businesses, caring for our families, being the heads of our own households, that was unheard of in the 1800s and early 1900s. So whereas where we are now, we have grown to a point to where, okay, I'm just as capable of accomplishing goals that I have set for myself and that I've set for my family, just as my male counterpart. So if there's a guy out there that I'm choosing to be in a relationship with and fall in love with and marry and raise a family with, then, I'm going to do this with him. So whereas back in the day where it was just straight submission, now, like y'all were mentioning, it's a balance of power. So you have, sometimes you're submissive, sometimes we're compromising. Whereas now it's more so of, we're doing more compromisation than we are as far as being submissive to each other.
Right.
There is some submissive qualities and there are things that we are submissive to doing. However, the majority of it, I would say, is compromise.
Right.
It's not. I don't use the term compromise. Not compromise. I don't use the term submission with my husband. He's weird with that term anyway, and it kind of doesn't hold weight because it's like an unspoken thing. So it's something that you do. You're just not blabbing about it and flailing your arms. I'm being submissive, whatever.
I'm submissive. I love it.
And flail your arms. You gotta do.
I mean, I'm submissive. Wow.
So it's kind of like whatever decision is being made for your household, y'all are balancing the purse strings. So if one person's carrying the load and they're earning the money, and the other person's like, okay, I'm better with paying bills than you are. We need to keep our credit score high.
Right.
We pay bills on time, not on the 13th, and they would do on the 10th. So that starts to add up. So even if you're 30 days late, 45 days late, 60 days late, you're going to get some pink letters in the mail. I'm just saying. So if y'all are trying to get to a place, then, you have to figure out what each other's strengths are. And that's one thing that we do in our relationship. Whereas, if Dave is strong in this aspect and I'm strong in something else, then we'll kind of balance the power as far as who's doing what and who's going to be strong in something else.
Right.
Yeah.
So Marcus is watching us. What's up, Marcus? So
Great.
Marcus, I got a lot of people. Michael Peterson, Kim Williams, Della.
That's my dad.
Della.
I heard you say, hey, guys, I started saying, hey, I was like, wow, hey, man.
Marcus Dupree says, well, yeah, I think he's saying about the difference of the way submission is because time has changed. So Frank says, you're so right, Cabana. He said, but now people divorce because somebody put too much salt in the gumbo. He said the situation changes. So let me ask you this. So going to the timeline of the change of events that Candice just referenced, from going like our grandparents possibly being completely or more so submissive. Well, back in Bible days when it was like, be this way or be smitten by the hand of God. And then all the way to grandparents where grandma's submissive, papa drives, papa does everything for grandma, to our parents who had the balance of both, to us more so now, as we're saying, it's more compromised. Do any of you feel that shift of partnership or the roles of partnership or what have you, do you think that has directly affected the divorce rate in the country?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think that it has, because of social media enhancing everything. I love what Greg said. Kudos to that, thinking about grandparents and generations after generations. Because even like when Kela says, even when we talk about our fight for us as Black people, generations after generations, and hopefully, we are seeing the actual change, as far as for our future generation and marriages. And I think that we are in a place where we're compromising, but with change comes more truth, and looking at what the pandemic has done, forcing people to be around each other that they have married. I know a few friends that are just couples, and I know a couple that are married, and their marriages are like, they're having a lot of static, and the boyfriends and girlfriends are like done. Because there's no real commitment. It's like, I feel like the static is, okay, are we gonna make it or are we not? And the ones that were like dating, like, shh, I ain't got time for this. You on my last nerve, da 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 da. And I feel like, I was thinking about one thing that hasn't changed. I know that in some countries they still pick their husbands for them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's definitely not right at all. But I feel like when we see something constantly, I think the media just shows a negative all the time. We don't have, like, I was raised on Cosby Show. I was raised on Three's Company, All in the Family. I was raised on shows that showed families. And I think that's another thing that's the problem. Marriage is not shown in a positive light on TV, IG reality. It's not shown. If you really sit back and take a moment outside of having Netflix, which now Netflix has become my new TV, and Hulu and Pluto, to go get all these old shows. Even when I was watching, this is a sidebar, but I was watching Designing Women. They had some deep subjects, things that we just don't talk about. So I feel like, yeah, it has changed, because the more aggressive we become for change, we kind of almost forget some of the things that we don't have to change. Like, was it Albert said about the love? Who said about love?
That was Frank.
Frank, just about loving one another and caring for one another. And it's okay to compromise and be there for one another. I think we need to see more people, to see people like yourselves right now that are all married and all are in good relationships, and you're choosing to be there. We don't see it. We just don't.
I don't think that television or social media I don't feel, it's my opinion.
Right.
I don't feel that they show marriage in a negative light. I think they don't show marriage in an accurate light. I don't think it's accurate. It's not negative, it's just not accurate. So if you scroll through a married couple's Instagram pages, and who is gonna post the argument? Then you're not gonna post the argument. You're not gonna post that he leaves his clothes on the floor right next to the dirty clothes hamper. You're not gonna post that your wife's, bathroom sink looks ridiculous because there's 5 curling irons, 30 different eyelashes, and glue everywhere. You're not gonna post when she didn't vacuum the yard.
The yard?
The yard? Come on.
You're not gonna post when she didn't vacuum the living room. You're not gonna post when he didn't finish the grass. They don't post that stuff. They don't post, I'm mad at you because you didn't do the dishes correctly, or you loaded the dishwasher wrong. They don't post that stuff.
Yeah.
They post, look at us, we're cute, we're going on a date. Look at us, we're this. Look at us, these pose, Ain't Kela cute in that picture? That's right.
I look like this. I look like
you
this.
Are so handsome in this.
But yeah, so they don't post accurate stuff, and because they don't post accurate stuff, when real couples go through that fight, they think they're the only ones that are fighting about this.
But what I'm saying is meaning I wasn't saying the people posting. I'm just saying the controlled TV. I think controlled media, controlled TV, just like controlled elections in the sense of what's the presentation. I just remember a time where the presentation in my era, in my day,
of course,
you could not. My TV was like Nickelodeon, Disney. Everything was family orientated, whether good, bad, or indifferent. It was just definitely around families. And it's not saying, you don't want balance and you don't want to see, but for my negative, I would watch Dynasty. I'm just saying the slap Dominique Devereaux and all that kind of stuff. But I wasn't given this prescription of the Atlanta Housewives of Potomac and Atlanta and Detroit and Chicago and What You Got to Say. You know what I'm saying? It was it's shoved down your throat. You don't see that it's even a good thing to be married.
I think there's I think everybody doesn't want the ideal family picture like what it is in America. I think that's changed. There are shows, but there's so many different channels out right now. You can find any and everything for whatever, but your algorithm might be sending you Real Housewives stuff for whatever reason, when it needs to be sending you, other things on Lifetime or, other channels. But yeah, that's what it was.
Like What You Got to Say on 16 different platforms. I'm just saying.
But
yeah.
Right. But do you not think that we are being fed a machine?
Oh yeah, that's
think,
but that's for another show. Don't say it out loud.
I didn't watch Netflix or anything for 13 years.
We're listening.
Conspiracy theory, I can't. But I just started watching Netflix because of the pandemic. I was watching DVDs. I was watching on repeat Martin Lawrence and Beyond because I felt like they're shoving your timelines and everything. Like literally, this is conspiracy theory, but I swear to God.
How we get here?
I don't want to say this aside, but I swear to God, I just want to say this.
Stuff is more and more interesting than being submissive. I know
right,
that.
Right. I just want to say this like real quick and we'll come back to submission. I'm so sorry. But is it just me? But can you mention something? Like literally mention like a show or something, and you will go turn your TV on, and that jank will be right on what you talked about.
They
Go
are
on YouTube
listening.
right
Can
now.
you please stop talking?
They
are listening.
Let me tell you something. I have done it so many times. Literally, I've opened my mouth about somebody or did something or wanted something. Oh, Kela.
Did you just upgrade your iPhone?
Oh,
like this just started happening for you? Damn.
No, I'm an Android, but I'm about to get ready. But literally, I don't even know how this got here. I'm not lying. And this sidebar, we'll get back to our conversation, everybody. Welcome to the show. I said,
what do you have to say?
I said,
so patient.
I wonder what CBD oil is. I said, I wonder what that is. Everybody keep talking about it. Why this come in my mailbox and I don't know why.
Hold on.
Because Candice sent it to you.
Did that really come in your mailbox or just out of
came in my mail?
Was it addressed
Once
to you?
again,
It was addressed to me.
Look at Kela. I wonder what $1 million is.
I wonder what it is.
I wonder how much it weighs.
I wonder what my bank account would hold.
This is why I speak.
You know what I'm saying? But y'all, literally, I was like, what is that?
That's dangerous. That's dangerous.
I wouldn't use that, bruh. Yeah. Don't use that.
I don't know what you already know my life.
Yeah, we don't need. I know. Don't use that.
Right.
Give that to somebody for Christmas.
That is on another level right there.
Okay, so now we are back to our show.
Sorry, go ahead, Candice.
It's over. Look, conspiracy theory is over, and now we're back to you.
Go ahead, Candice.
I had several people that were commenting. So one person in Courtney said people try to have 1950s relationships in 2020 with slight rule changes to favor either side. I think
who said that? That's great.
Yeah.
Courtney.
Courtney, good.
And then one of my friends, Laura, said, as a wife and a mother in 2020, my schedule is just as busy as my husband's. So submission would not work in my. We're equals. He makes up in my weak areas as I do in his. Dave came back and said, submissive means you're not invested in yourself, and the person you're with has no intent on helping you in any way be greater.
That's
Courtney back and was like, don't mess up my gumbo.
Who said don't mess?
Don't mess with my gumbo.
But when you were mentioning scrolling down a couple's Instagram page, and Dave was like, you know what says a lot? Joint pages. Like, which one of y'all fucked up? Did y'all have joint pages?
Somebody cheated. If you got a joint Facebook page, a joint Instagram page, and a joint email address, somebody has been, one of these things has been unfaithful. One of these things.
Dizzy, hey, somebody said
on a leash.
You vacuuming yards, they need to get on your level.
I'm vacuuming the yard and mowing the carpet.
Hey, why you playing? That'll keep your neighbors away from you. Is that joker out there?
Too.
Right.
Joker out there vacuuming the driveway? Don't talk to her. Don't talk to her.
So, all right. So we are at the hour mark. So we're going to hit up our final idea on submission. Quick final submission thought. And then, just for Cabana's sake, I want you to name one thing that you argue with your spouse about that you know is stupid.
Oh, good.
You know it's stupid, but yet hold on. No.
I want to know.
It might not be stupid to you, but in the grand scheme of things, it's stupid.
I'm ready for that. Come on,
y'all. If anybody's listening, I need that input. Because I understand what Cabana's saying about the family not actually being shown as often as it was in the past. And I also agree that social media does skew what marriage actually looks like. And also dating. That it really doesn't do dating justice either. But I definitely think that real life marriage issue, make sure you let Cabana know what it is, because I'm sure there's several single people out there who don't know that some of us go through some crazy, silly nonsense being married.
So, I'm getting married in 2020.
I don't know. One person was like, social media life is always Disneyland grand until it's over.
You know what? I'm going to beat Albert Brunson.
Yeah, you said I'm laughing.
Albert Brunson, I said, please share what your spouse, what's up that you
argue about.
Stupid. And Albert Brunson put vacuum in the yard. We argue about that 24.
I hate you, Albert, but I love you.
I hate you, Albert. A sister can't make a mistake. Good God.
Vacuum in the yard.
And now we're going to have a song?
Yes.
That's all right. Somebody from Amazon going to send you a yard vacuum to your door.
And hopefully Boost will send me an endorsement deal. And
while you talking, they have a new lawnmower out that moves like the Roomba that you got in the house now.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah, they got a lawnmower that does that now.
Send it her way, God. So we can see him vacuum in the yard. Vacuum in the yard, yeah. Come on, we're vacuum. No, sorry.
I'm gonna delete this episode because
hey,
Kela, come on, give me a stupid marriage argument.
Oh please, come
Look,
on.
Kela gonna be like, none of my arguments are stupid. I mean,
everything I said was right. She's wrong.
Everything I say is correct.
On that. So because I am never wrong, and I know that it would make no difference to talk about it. So we don't argue about it, but it is something that I would like to argue about every single day, and possibly just every minute of every day. But I don't. You know, he should really love me for that. Keeping the toilet seat up, not the whole toilet, just the lid of the toilet.
Oh.
I hate that. I don't like bathrooms, period. Like, unless it's my bathroom, you know, bathrooms. I have like a phobia. But leaving the toilet seat up is just, you can see inside the bowl. I don't care if it's clean all the time. I just don't want the water like explode. Nothing like, yeah, like I don't.
Yeah, I agree.
Down before you flush, all that stuff. Like I am
really. Water monster gonna come out, or a doo-doo creature gonna come get you later on.
Just the particles.
If you at Hardee's, you wouldn't have no problem.
Because if you were at Hardee's, that's where you're gonna do it.
That's true.
Sorry, I want an endorsement deal. Doodle boom.
But yeah, I would argue with him all the time, but I don't.
Okay.
So. And my last thing about submission, it's okay if that's what you want to do. You know what I mean? It is definitely a relationship style. I think that time has gone away from the traditional marriages and stuff because women have rights now. They can vote, they can work if they want to. And so it's not, that dynamic is already changing. All my young women, I see y'all out there and they are the future. Oh, snap. They are the future. And I think the more we empower the next generation, the less submissive roles I think women will want to play. And if that's what you want, no problems. At least it's a choice now and not something that our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, and our ancestors had to do. It is now something that we can choose to do.
Got you. All right, girl.
Come on here.
All right, Mr. Tyrone Greggory.
I'm still thinking. Go to Candice, please.
Miss Candice with the church fan.
Yeah.
It was hot.
Well, I mean, it's Texas, so.
True.
True.
I can't think of anything where I'm just all the way wrong that I argue about.
Don't have to be wrong. It could just be something that like is stupid.
Like not me.
Maybe like leaving stuff out, like and it's probably not even my spouse, it's like the kids. Like just pick your stuff up out of the floor instead of me having to come behind you and pick it up or call you out from whatever you were doing to come and pick it up. But I don't argue with Dave like that for real. Like we don't have like no big arguments or even just like the little stupid ones.
That's because Dave throw you in that.
I like y'all because Dave is in his business.
He throw her in that bath when she.
I remember the first couple of shows. I won't forget. Come on here.
I mean, we have disagreements, but it's not no full argument or nothing.
Well, what's your disagreement? I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't call what I do as an argument.
What's a pet peeve?
Yeah.
Yeah, she ain't even saying.
What do you disagree about?
I don't know, picking up clothes out of the floor. I don't know. I can't think of it.
That's good though, Ken. I think that's so dope that
She's like, I'm chilling. Okay.
You're my hero, girl.
Like life is amazing. Like y'all don't understand.
I like it.
Look, anytime you can say something like that, that's dope to me.
Albert.
We are doing amazing. Like we have grown together, and although 2020 has been some high quality fuck shit for a lot of people, we're doing quality. We are doing great. Looking on social media, watching other people, going back and forth, arguing about stuff, or you upset and you done posted all your business, and then you come back 2 weeks later. Why everybody my business? Baby, we on season 6 of your drama. You can't
Cardi B. But I do like Cardi for her honor.
Albert Brunson said,
hey. I think that made my day.
You want to do the Carlton dance?
Albert Brunson says, we don't argue. She submitted to all my arguments.
Albert.
I can't with you.
No, it's true submission.
Right. She is submitted out of my argument. All right, Greg, your turn. What you got?
Now, it's stupid, but I hate it. And I think that she does it to get on my nerves. And I think she trained the kids to do this too. But leaving time on the fucking microwave. When you take your food out the microwave, clear it out. So I can see the actual time.
Really?
Don't leave it saying 8 seconds left on the microwave. For what?
Well, they were trying to save your ears from that extra beeping at the end.
Nah. I think people that leave time on the microwave are psychos.
What?
Mm-hmm. I said it. Mm-hmm.
I find it as a personal challenge to make sure I stop it when there's at least 1 second left on there. So
that's fine. But once you do that and you take your food out, hit that button that say clear, and let the time come back up. Now I'm late trying to leave out the house, and I'm looking at the microwave trying to get the time, and I'm looking. Oh man, I got 8 seconds. Hold on, 8 seconds. Oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, nah.
Albert is being so shady right now.
I see him. He said, make your children
back in the yard, bro.
Albert.
We gonna get you with the microwave on the back. On their back.
Love it. Oh, look. Hold up. Frank says, message from my wife, approved by myself. My wife does the best gumbo in the world. # peace in the house. He snatched his phone and typed that.
Get off that man's phone, girl. Get off that man's phone.
Okay.
I argue about the neatness of our beds. I like my sheets to be fresh with no wrinkles and my hair.
I'm coming to stay with her. Where she's
I can get with, because I'll make up the bed as soon as I get up. And Dave don't care. Like he might throw the covers back, and then other times he'll just come back during the day. Next time he goes in the room, he'll make up the bed. But me, when I get up, I'm throwing the covers back. And if he's still laying down, he's like, how you gonna make up the bed with me still in it? You on your side. I'm just doing this side. I'm just straightening out my side. That's all.
And then do you get mad if he disturbs your side when he gets out of the bed?
Nobody.
Yo, would y'all have 2 separate beds, but like laying next to each other, Lucy style? Would y'all do that?
No.
Never.
No. Couldn't do it. I'm sorry. Y'all forget I got 5 kids. I can't do that shit.
You remember the first episode? That's why.
Y'all like to have fun. I appreciate y'all.
Right?
My new hero. Amen.
Okay, so this is something I used to fuss about. I stopped fussing about it once I read Michelle Obama's book.
Okay.
Okay, Michelle.
Come on,
Out here
Obama.
inspiring people.
So my husband bought me the Michelle Obama book for Christmas maybe like 2 years ago. And I got to this chapter and I had one of those aha moments like, damn, this dumb. Why am I fussing about this? But once I realized that Barack Obama does the same thing, then I let my husband slide for the rest of his life with this nonsense. So I don't know how many ladies out there had this problem with their husband, but within my bedroom, everybody's bedroom, there is a dirty clothes hamper. Okay. When you take off clothes that are dirty, you're supposed to put them inside the dirty clothes hamper. If it's not dirty, put that shit back in the drawer, hang it up, air it out, Febreze it, whatever your routine is, I'm not judging you. But what I don't understand is
The buildup.
is there a basket next to the dirty clothes hamper all the time? And I would say, are these clothes dirty? Why don't you just put them in a dirty clothes hamper? And he said, they're not dirty. Well, then put them away. But they've been worn. So these are mediocre clothes? I mean, what is this? Why is this here?
It can still be worn one more time.
One more
time.
And so
That you room, you just throw them over there and then go back and grab.
That basket used to get on my damn nerves because I don't like it in the bedroom. It throws my whole aesthetic off. It doesn't match. And even my dirty clothes hamper matches the aesthetic of my room.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I hate this basket. But when I read that Barack Obama does the same thing, Michelle Obama used to fuss about this basket. And she said one day, she was just like, is this basket hurting me? It's not hurting me. It's not hurting my life. Because she realized that once the stuff in the basket was dirty, he would put it in the dirty clothes hamper. So this was like purgatory for clothes. They're not going to heaven. They're not going to hell. They just kind of floating around until somebody decides what to do with them.
Come on here.
So I used to fuss about that all the time because I needed those clothes to go some damn where besides. I mean, we got a big old closet. We got big old drawers and shelves. Why can't you just put them? So I just let him have a basket. It stays on his side of the room, out of my sight, and I no longer fuss about it. And it has brought more peace to the missing home. Now, submit that. Okay. So, Cabana, do you feel better about life just a little bit?
I do.
You do?
I do.
You just wait.
Oh, yeah, I claim
What did Lance say? We are blessed.
21, I'm going to have it. And
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
My ring and be like, hey, y'all, there you go.
Albert!
He's on your head, man. He is on your head.
And Dizzy fussed out that basket just before she went outside to vacuum the yard. You know what? I'm done with you. Look, I'm done with you, Albert.
And she gonna go outside and vacuum after the show.
I'm about to go outside right now I don't even have a vacuum. Yes, I do.
Damn.
I do. No,
she got the floor thing.
I have the Roomba. I have Roomba.
Oh.
You need to take a picture of you vacuum.
Clothes got coronavirus. Wash them out.
What you say?
I said them clothes got coronavirus. Wash them out.
He said sometimes she washes the clothes while I'm still wearing them. Shut up, Albert. I can't hit you.
That's a fully clothed rub down. He likes it. Yeah. Ow. All right. So we are out for What You Got to Say. Please like, subscribe, follow. We are on all social media platforms. We are on 16 different podcast platforms.
16. Act like you can't find us.
5551.
Share. We love y'all. Every single Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Submit to that, Albert Brunson. What you got to say? We out.
Peace.